What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome to the Warframe video. So, I know I briefly talked about wanting to make a video on my actual favorite weapon going into Corpus Liches, and we're actually going to go over two weapons at once today, with what I basically am going to be rocking for Corpus Liches. So, let's get into it. Before we get into that, though, make sure you are subbing to that channel and hitting that like button if you're enjoying these videos. Alright, so we're going to be going over two weapons today. One of which is the Kuva. Yes, the Kuva I am definitely digging. It has a little bit less explosion range than the Kuva Brahma with Prime Firestorm, which we will be using Prime Firestorm today. But I'm also going to be showing the Furax Wraith. And I was extremely surprised by the Furax Wraith being a very powerful weapon, actually, and having some fun little gimmicks to it that not everyone might know about. Alright, so first the Kuva. So it's a Kuva Lich weapon. You can pick the element you want. For the purposes of this video, it is a Toxin Kuva. Just for pure Toxin, bypassing enemy shields, one-shotting the Corpus through their shields, and wreaking some havoc in the meantime with a relatively large explosion radius. When we put Prime Firestorm on here, and then we combine the Amalgam Furax body count, that will be on our Furax Wraith, it will be about 13-meter explosion range. But just finishing off the stats on the Tonkor, 30% crit chance and a 2.5 multiplier. Not 100% crit chance with just point strike, but this thing has decent stat rivens as well, so you can get over 100% crit chance if you have a crit chance riven. 17% stash chance. You will proc relatively often, honestly, but you're going to be killing the enemies outright, to be honest. So, decent amount of slash, and then there's a lot of blast damage on the explosion shot. So, relatively good stuff right there. And then the Furax Wraith, the second part of this setup, where this is a punching weapon that comes from, I think, Plains of Eidolon bounties, last time I checked. It's got 30% crit chance, 2.7 multiplier, with a 15% status chance, and 1.0 attack speed. This thing can red crit with Blood Rush. This thing, I was using it just as like an explosion stat stick at first, but then I'm like, okay, this thing is really good. This thing actually is really good. The Furax Wraith are strong, and I do highly recommend them. And you know what, they have base IPS, so you can just make a pure Toxin build to punch right through the Corpus shields and one-shot them. So I have this, I just have a standard Blood Rush build going on right here, but I was definitely thinking about making a upfront damage build with like Sacrificial Steel instead of Blood Rush maybe, and then messing around with it a little bit more, just because like I don't want the focus on my combo multiplier. If I could just be really lazy and run like something like, like Xeneric, never have to worry about energy, not like I normally do worry about energy, and we could just run Sacrificial Steel, get us a 96% crit chance. That with a 5.1 multiplier should be enough to kill all the Corpus in the mission in one hit, if I'm not blowing them up en masse with the Tonkor. So something like that could be pretty good. Our Riven is upfront melee damage and Toxin with negative combo efficiency, so that could be pretty nice. I've heard that the heavy attack build on this is actually pretty good as well. But the big cherry on top of this build is Amalgam Furax body count. So what this one will do is give you a 50% increased combo duration and an increased blast radius on special launchers. It's basically a couple of launchers will have increased blast radius, and it does stack with Prime Firestorm. Additionally, it has a bugged description. DE never updated the description on this one. Melee kills knock down enemies within 15 meters. What that used to mean is it would do a guaranteed blast proc, which was back in the day was a knockdown. But now it just gives them 10 stacks of blast, which nowadays just makes enemies very inaccurate. So it's pretty nice for condition overload, though. So let's kill one of these guys. As you can see, blast procs in the area. It was actually 5 blast procs, but yeah, as you can see, I mean, this is like with no Blood Rush. These are level 180 techs, and it's doing pretty nice. So very fun stuff right there. So I do highly recommend this one, and then you get that blast proc for condition overload, making it so you get even more melee damage. That's just, I mean, this is just a random build right now. Now, to be fair, I do have a Riven mod. This thing has very high stat rivens, so if you are someone that wants to increase the blast radius on your explosion weapons, I'd recommend getting a Furax Riven. They can get really, like, look, 5 dots right there, so that's the Furax Wraith with 5 dot disposition, and very good damage. Can red crit, like I said, with Blood Rush. Very nice stuff. Let's go over the Tonkor here. Now, I'm showing you stuff with rivens, so let's be real here. My build was set up with rivens in mind, but you do not need to have a riven to one-shot high-level Corpus enemies. So this is the build we're rocking right now. We've got Serration, Prime Firestorm, a Toxin double crit minus fire rate Riven. There's actually plenty of negatives on the Toncore that you can go for. You can go for negative fire rate. You can go for negative magazine size. I definitely would say don't go for negative reload speed because it's 1 in the tube, and you will be reloading after every shot unless you are like going for some double shot situation with like maybe magazine size on your Riven, a magazine size increasing mod. You could definitely try that out. But I'm not going to go for it right now, especially because that's going to be heat on Wildfire, and like I think there might be a magazine. No, the Prime magazine size mod is actually for secondaries. So Prime Band the Corpus. This is going to one-shot 180 techs. Now, it is with a Riven, like I said, but that is what we're showing right now. And it has higher stat Rivens than the Brahma. So let's quickly spawn them in, and it shouldn't last very long on this field. As you can see right there, at the edges of the explosion, it's not doing full damage, but it is. You could just run through the mission spamming that. So I definitely highly recommend that. And yeah, of course we could make them Eximus, but that's not really what we're doing today. So yes, this will AoE clear. This will be for anything that is right in front of my face, because the thing is with the Toncore, if you fire it right too close, it does not explode. So that it used to be like a safety measure for stealth damage. Nowadays, it's just inconvenient and annoying. So yeah, if they're too close to get blown up, I just punch them with the Furax Wraith, and the Furax Wraith has good damage, so it works out great. If the Kuva Lich does spawn, this should be able to deal with them. Now, and like I said, the Furax Wraith is flexible, so if for some reason, like they're most likely going to make it where the Corpus Liches are not going to just get cheesed by Toxin. It's very flexible. You can make a corrosive build. You can make a viral build on this thing very, very easily. So yeah, it is a nice flexible weapon for you. And yeah, that is something I'll be keeping in my arsenal for sure. All right, now that is now you might think, well, what about nullifiers? Well, that's why you have your secondary option very widely open. That's like basically whatever you want to run. There's plenty of weapons that are good against nullifier bubbles, the Kuva Nucor being one of the best. There's things like the Kuva Kraken, maybe the Axe Stiletto Prime, the Athadai, like really like whatever you guys want to use to kill nullifier bubbles. That's going to be great. And of course, there is also, if you don't want to use the Toncore for some reason, there is the Miter, like I said. This is going to be your best bet. It's literally called Papa Nully on my little loadout thing here. Neutralize Injustice. Each Miter Blade has a 90% chance to destroy the nullifier field with multi-shot. I've got 3 multi-shot on here, so I fire 3 Saw Blades. It's going to pop a nullifier bubble, period. Like, I'm not going to get 3 10% chances all failing there, so... Or 3 90% chances failing. So, yeah. And if you don't want to, like I said, you can run a Radiation Toncore if you want to. We'll see how it actually goes when Corpus Liches come out. But my gut feeling is that this will be a really good way to do it. An AoE primary, which will kill like a huge area of the room, and then just your melee weapon is mainly focused on killing the Lich when that appears. And keep in mind, if you do want to min-max eating your Murmurs, you technically shouldn't insta-kill your Lich. I know I never did end up making my Kuva Lich guide from like a year ago. But yeah, you want to basically have the Lich like chilling for a little bit. But the thing is, you can't. Here's the thing, and the reason that it's hard to suggest that you can't control your teammates from insta-killing the Lich. That's the thing. Like, you could try and be like, hey, don't kill the Lich, but people are a lot of time not reading chat and just like nuke it down with whatever melee they got, just spamming that button real hard. So yeah, you basically don't want to insta-kill the Lich because it will create more thralls and it will let you get more Murmurs. But like I said, I wouldn't worry too much about it because, you know, it's there. When you jump into public matchmaking, you get what you get. Okay, maybe that guy is just like, I actually had a guy get really mad at me for insta-killing the Lich in public matchmaking. Now that I think about it, I insta-kill the Lich because like I just want to get through this mission right now. He got so mad. He refused. He was one of those guys that like refused to get on extraction because like you did something he didn't like. He was definitely baby raging. It was pretty funny. But he's like, you're the worst. You're the worst player for killing the Lich. Like, people actually get really mad in public matchmaking in this game. I'm like, dude, I'm literally in public matchmaking right now. I was streaming at the time, and it was kind of cringe, to be honest. But yeah, the Kuva Toncore and the Furax Wraith, definitely pick them both up if you are looking for things that I will be using at least for this upcoming update. And like I said, the Furax Wraith, I'm probably going to try it in Endurance run eventually. It doesn't have any slash, or it has a little bit of slash. It's not a slash proc focused weapon, but it has a nice feeling moveset. That knockdown mod, the Amalgam Furax body count. You know, it's not really an endurance weapon, to be honest, but I bet I could get the job done, honestly. It's just nice feeling to use. So there's a random host migration when you're not even expecting it, just to keep you on your toes. I'll see you guys next time. And as far as the frame I'll be using for this, we'll have I'm going to make a top 10 list of frames for Kuva or for Corpus Liches coming up. How about that? We can just do that. Top 5, top 10, whatever. I think top 10 will probably be more popular. So let's give that a shot. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video, guys. Thanks for all the support and take it easy. Peace.